Here we go. This is our season 1 finale and biggest shout out episode yet. Welcome to Be Happy I Didn't Kill You, Confessions of a Recovering Angry Girl. Sam here, and we're visual because I got some props. And I'm doing this in one shot because that's how I did every episode of this. And I feel like even though this one's a visual one, we should still just go through this and do it. So today's topic is saying thank you and giving a shout out to all my guests in reverse order, because why not? And it's the season finale, so it's a little bit different. I kind of stole this idea from Raised by Rentals. I kind of like how Josh at the end of each season would be like, all right, here's like highlights and what we did and everything. And I thought, since this is kind of more or less like an interview type podcast, then it would be awesome to do a thank you and a shout out to everybody that helped me create this first season and really made this passion project come true for me. So thank you. And I'm gonna start my first shout outs from our last round table discussion, which I kind of feel like was a cool way to end this season. I was debating doing one more episode, but I was like, I don't know. I kind of like how we ended on the round table discussion and talking about music, which I know we kind of covered a few episodes of that, but definitely something that I love and I wanted to have on there. So, So, quick personal story and kind of a lead way into like the whole like group thing of this podcast. Um, so my partner and I have been like openly having conversations and being more like upfront with each other. We're both kind of people pleasers, so like we wouldn't say things to like hurt or offend each other, and we kind of walked on eggshells for something. So we're kind of learning to be more open with like each other, and then that kind of helps us be more like open with ourselves and like be able to become better people basically in the long run. So he brought up to me the fact that like as soon as I first meet somebody or I first experience somebody or something, like I'm extreme about it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. This is so cool. Like the nerd in me just gets like super uber obsessed and everything. And like the personality disorder in me is also like kind of adding into that obsession. So like I always get super excited about people, super excited about things, and then they do something like human or, something that I might not agree with and stuff, and I kind of like take it the wrong way. And I feel like with this show, it gave me an opportunity also to like listen to other people's sides and like kind of hear more about like what they have to say and be able to see like their perspective a little bit more, because I feel like something in this society, in my opinion, and honestly something that I've always really struggled with, is like seeing other people's perspectives and kind of like understanding that like, yeah, you can see something from some way or see somebody from like a certain lens or an aspect, but maybe that's really not it, how it is or who they are or whatever. And once you have like those open conversations, and once you kind of like hear about people, then you can be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, like I totally see that now. And like, you're still awesome, we just have a little bit of a different opinion, or kind of disagree on something and stuff. And I don't know, that's something we definitely all have to focus. And like I said, I'm definitely trying really hard to be open and see other people's perspective and see that even though, I'm living my life, everything's not always from my perspective, and I have to be more open and understanding with that. But I didn't even realize I was going to get into this whole thing. I'm going to try to keep this short, I promise. But starting into our shout outs. So, Maurice Reese, thank you so much for being on the round discussion for punk rock. And Reese is part of Boogeyman's Closet. They do horror movie reviews. You can check Boogeyman's Closet with 1 O on all your social medias. I listen to them on Podbean, so you can check it out there. And then Brian and Corey also joined us in that discussion, and they're from So It Comes to This, a Simpsons Family podcast. I knew I was going to say that wrong, but that's okay. They kind of started out doing this podcast with their kids during COVID, and it's branched out to their friend Pat, who actually I went to high school with. So he was a friend of mine in high school. And funny enough, Brian went to our high school too, but he was a senior when we were freshmen. So I didn't really remember him at the moment, but I'm glad that he's a good friend of mine now. And then we had another guest on that, but I will give their shout out for their individual episode because they are the only person that I have had so far on this podcast twice, which is pretty awesome. Sherry Chick goes out next. Dream Chicks Energy LLC. Check that out on all your social medias. She just had Adult Wave, which I had vendored at before. She's a big part of the kink adult community. She also has Kink Tix. That's KINKTIX.com. It's a source where you can sell tickets for your events, especially if you're kind of doing events that are more on the adult side. Unfortunately, in this country, a lot of that stuff is very censored, probably because they don't really have open discussions of it, and they say of the fact that like they're worried about kids having access to it, but every kid has a cell phone in their pocket, so I don't know, I kind of feel like they can't really argue that point anymore with allowing adults to express themselves, but I don't know, we'll see what the future brings. But yeah, check out Cherry's doing stuff. She does some speed dating too at a bar that she does security at. You should check that out too. I'm sure information is on any of her pages for Dreamy Chick Energy LLC, so please check that out. And then Mike Jeffers, huge shout out to him. It's so funny, like I remember meeting him at Discovery Records back in the early 90s, which we kind of briefly talk about if you listen to our episode We Got the Beat. And I always thought it was funny that he like remembered my name. I always kind of think it's really funny that like anyone remembers my name, but I don't know. I kind of feel like after you meet me and kind of feel my intensity about something up front, I guess it's not really hard to forget me, but those are one of those things that we all kind of struggle with, thinking that we're not really rememberable, but a lot of us are, so kind of focus on that. He has a new 7-inch coming up for one of his bands, GOA, which is Gentlemen of Age. So it's a lot of those guys from back in the early 90s playing now. So you can find their 7-inch on any of their social medias. He also has some upcoming shows with Juggernaut. So if you want to check out his bands or anything, that's pretty cool. Josh Schredisberg that I had on for the comics, and he's the brilliant mind behind Raised by Rentals, which is an awesome podcast, one of my favorite. They just had one of their rants talking about like spite unseen, how people get upset about like things coming out before they actually come out. So they're like kind of shitting on a property or something before it even occurs. I think a good example was like the Crow movie. I know a lot of people that really enjoyed that movie growing up don't want to see it remade, but remakes are just reimaginations. They're just another fan, another person who loved the franchise, putting their love into it. So kind of talk about there, and always go back to like gatekeeping and stuff. They kind of talk about that, but definitely awesome to check out. They're doing for their season 3 now more of like their original stories, so that's pretty cool too. I really like the RoboCop one from this season, so check that out. And Josh also, here's where our first props come in, did Upai and Bort with Mike Alvarez. So these are stories that they wrote together and Mike illustrated, and Josh did some of the inking. They're super cool from a long time ago. They're probably gonna laugh that I still have these, but those two are brilliant. Their writing skills are fantastic. I'm honored to have Josh and Mike as a friend, and their fucking minds are brilliant. So definitely check out their stuff. They will have future stuff as us creative types. We always are creating. So that is the cool part. But also the sad part, because I kind of feel like, I feel in my case mainly, I should be saying, you get so creative, you get so wrapped up in doing all these projects and everything that you kind of forget about like the people that are really close in your life and your partner, or somebody that you live with, and people that you love, because you're so focused on trying to create something and trying to get like, that feeling of, oh, cool, like I created this and people appreciate this. But there are other things that are more important about that. So you have to figure out that balance and what works best for you. Next, going into Susie Hunt, another one from Boogeyman's Closet. She's amazing. She was one of my first horror fans I met in my early 20s, and I lived with her briefly, and it was just awesome to have another female, like to be able to have like discussions about serial killers and horror and like spooky stuff and reading. And she's a very smart woman, and I appreciate and love her, and I am so glad that she came on and we kind of talked about this podcasting and kind of like finally bringing out your voice and giving your opinions on things and everything, and it was pretty awesome. So check out Susie, listen to her on Boogeyman's Closet. There's a ton of back episodes on there right now. They're on a pause at the moment, but they will be back soon. So go on, check out their back catalog. It's super awesome. Mike and Tara, soon to be McCoy, both of them, maybe. I don't know. Tara, you keeping your last name? I don't know. We didn't discuss that. Just at their bridal shower, which was completely amazing. Mike came out dressed as Beetlejuice and came down the aisle and everything. And this was just for the bridal shower. And it was pretty awesome. And they are both brilliant artists. Mike's special effects are brilliant. Every time he posts a picture, I'm like, man, this is so great. Tara's artwork is to die for. Some props here. Spilled Ink, which is Tara and Mike did some monsters together, which is pretty awesome. It's a very thick comic, and it's just a collection of Tara stuff and Mike stuff, and it's just super fucking rad. This is one of my favorite Tara pieces that we have in our house. This is next to our TV. It's pretty awesome. Tara's artwork is awesome. It's dark. I love the lines, the black and white to it. She does do color stuff too. She has clothes and stuff on her Coffin Dreams LLC. So please check out that. She's got sweaters and shirts and prints and I think cups and stuff, all kinds of stuff. Definitely go check it out. It's coffindreamsllc.com. She's on all the social medias. And then Mike's Mike McCoy special effects. You can find him on Slasher or a lot of the other social medias, which shout out to Slasher for whoever is a horror fan and doesn't have the horror app Slasher should totally download it. It's super awesome. It's a community for all horror related stuff. There's links for movies, books, podcasts. There's a calendar that shows you events. I wish kind of more people access that. I feel like I should probably be sending in for that too. Kind of slacking on that too, but it's really cool. Damien, who created the app and everything, has it all put together and laid out really good. And yeah, as I say, more shout outs, because this is the episode of shout outs. Next, Jess Alvarez. It's amazing. She's a fantastic mom, fantastic wife to Mike Alvarez, who is going to get mentioned a bunch of times here. I already mentioned him with Josh, with Raised by Rentals, and with Tara. I'll talk more about him for his episode. Jess and I have both been doll collectors our entire lives, and we both have very similar things in our collection, so it's always nice to get together with her and have some tea and talk. And she's an amazing cook, so I love food, so anybody that cooks me food usually I am very fond of. Frankie, unfortunately, as I said, Frankie for episode 15, we had to take it down at the moment. We got a little crazy with dropping some names. Kind of a serious episode we were talking about with like domestic violence. And we wanted to stress the fact too that predators can also be female, male, non-binary, anybody. And if a situation makes you feel uncomfortable or something makes you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to say something and discuss it with somebody and talk. A lot of times it's perspective. A lot of times the other person doesn't even know that they might be doing something that's harmful. So I believe us having these discussions is a good thing. Frankie and I are looking into some resources in the future, maybe like a group of people that just can kind of meet and do activities together and talk and stuff. And I don't know, there's not enough community around here. Like, everybody talks about it and everything, but we need a little bit more of like getting together and trying not to self-isolate, as awesome as it is, because I am totally guilty of that too. All the time I just want to run and hide, but it's better to get out and talk, because then eventually you will feel better and people will understand where you're coming from and you'll understand where they're coming from, and that's awesome. That is community. Next shout out is Gloomy, aka Josh. He was doing the music festival that was originally supposed to be yesterday, 2 days ago, I think. It kind of fell through. Unfortunately, we live in New York State. There are permits, there are insanity for all kinds of stuff when you want to do events. They really stick it to you, and a lot of the venues around here also stick it to you for prices, which kind of sucks too. I hope eventually one day to own a venue or something, but who knows? There are some good ones out there. Search around, ask around. Yeah, we need to help each other and kind of do it more DIY and get away from the state, even though I shouldn't be saying that, because legally we're not supposed to be doing that. But there are other opportunities. There are places where we can meet and hang out and talk and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, do what you can. Try to get people together. I wish luck to Gloomy in the future. Hopefully he can do something else. He's actually the first person I interviewed that I didn't really personally know. So I had just talked to him online about putting together this event and everything. So I wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can have music events in the future. Next, the shout out to my partner for the past 19 years, Travis, who has dealt with a lot dealing with me. And I think he'd say the same back, but he's not here to say that. I do really appreciate him, all of his understanding, trying to look more at everything we created together, working together to heal each other, going in the right direction, and hopefully deciding what we want for our futures or future together. I don't know. The future will tell. But I appreciate him so much, and I know I don't say that enough, and I get so wrapped up in my own little world and nerding out and all those things that I definitely forget how much that he does for me, and I really do appreciate everything he does for me. And he is certified now in Reiki. He has a location. He is working on getting a table done right now. For anyone that doesn't know what Reiki is, please listen back to my past episode with Chelsea for more information. But basically clearing energy out of your body, be it negative or a block or something, helping you get that energy out so you can move forward and be your best self. This spiritual healing and everything has really been a big thing for him. It's great. I'm happy that he's finding his thing, and reach out, set up an appointment. He's going to be looking for people to set up appointments soon. And then we can also get some more hot sauce made. We're doing some cherry pepper this weekend. It's kind of been a struggle lately, like time-wise, money-wise, everything with life to get some sauces done. But hopefully with pepper season coming in and us getting more plants and everything, that will be something that we will get out. Next is Rachel Dursky. Dirt's Tattoos. You'll find her on social media. She's at Till Death Tattoos in East Aurora. They just moved locations. They were on Main Street and now they're on Olean, which is basically just kind of like around the corner. So they didn't go too far. I actually have to stop by there to drop off some Ash comics, because I did that episode with her and I on our love for Bruce Campbell. Check that out. She's done my Monster High tattoos, my spiderweb tattoo and my spider, and my Little Pony tattoos. She's still got a few more of those to do and a few more stuff we're working on for my Monster High sleeve. But if you want a female who's great with line work, please check out Rachel and set up an appointment with her at Till Death Tattoos. Going next into Trisha. She was Little Bitty Creations, which she is kind of still doing that now, but she hired on Chelsea and Michaela. Shout out to Chelsea and Michaela. I'll get to Chelsea later. And check out Michaela and Trisha for Buffalo Events Marketplace. They're doing a whole bunch of events. On September 9th, we have the I should have wrote this down. Nightcrawlers Market. Yeah, so it's a market that's been going on for a while. Trisha just took over ownership for it. So her, Michaela, and Chelsea will be working on that. I will have a table there. Please come buy stuff. I'm bringing a lot of toys again. Those seem to be good sellers in person, and they're a pain to ship. But for this winter, I will be getting more stuff on the website, I promise. I was hoping on the summer, and I kind of was leaving it to, I'm not going to do any events. But then people started asking me to do events, and I have a hard time saying no, which I have to learn to work at that end. I mean, it's an opportunity to sell stuff and network and get out there, and that's super awesome. So I love doing events for that reason. I just don't love doing events because lately it's been me on my own, and it's a lot to carry and move all that stuff, and it's exhausting and it sucks. And I miss Brandon. He had some surgery. He hasn't been able to do events, and my niece has been working like crazy. She's another one that's been doing events and hasn't, and nobody else really likes to sit there for a whole day. Oh, my mom. My mom comes out and helps me with some events. But yeah, I love it. I love the atmosphere. I love talking to the vendors. Like, even if I don't sell anything, it's awesome. But like, I'm so much in the hole that like selling something is super helpful and awesome. And I really need to get stuff on the website because we are surrounded by a ton of stuff. I will show you at the end of this what we have coming up for Western New York Horror Crew. Jumping back into this, Sarah Nowak. Yeah, my horror-loving hottie. I love her to death. She's been super busy this summer. I can't wait to see her. You can look at me and tell I'm a horror fan, and as we discussed in my episode, you cannot with Sarah, but that does not mean that she loves horror any less than me. And we talk about that in our episode, Are You Here With Your Boyfriend? Which is kind of a joke on her and I loving horror so much and going to horror events sometimes by ourselves, and like people being shocked that we have so much knowledge and expecting that there's a man behind us that like gave us that knowledge or something, and kind of the stereotype of women not being as knowledgeable and not loving horror as much as men, which of course it's just a stereotype, but it kind of does exist for some people, which sucks. But Sarah is doing traveling, especially Disney, Universal Studios. There's all the Halloween stuff coming up and everything. So hit her up on the social medias at sarah.nowak.travel to check out. Universal Studios is doing some amazing monster stuff coming up. So you really need to check that out because it's sweet. Next is Brandon Pace, Vile Science, who I was just saying about events. Brandon and I have been best friends since LiveJournal, when we both had all the same stuff in common and then became really good friends after that. Have lived together, traveled together. He's getting married in October. Congratulations to him and Robin. Super excited. Robin is a sweetheart, and I am so glad that they are starting their life together. Brandon makes amazing music and does graphic arts. And here is a comic that he did with our buddy Ben. So check that out. It's called Plenty of Time. Here also is one of my favorite pictures that Brandon drew for me. We've also worked with each other a lot of places, and that's when we worked at Jim's Steakout, and he drew that brain flower when we were super bored one night before the crazy rush of drunk people came in that we had mix-ups for. That's when I had like 3 million jobs when I first met Travis. Also next is Melissa, which also goes by Disco Nap. That's her burlesque show. She performs a lot with the stripteasers. She has performed with the Glam Vamps a few times. We talked a whole episode about burlesque and performance art and all that stuff. I absolutely love performance art. It is fantastic. It is a way to use your body as an art form, which is amazing, and be able to communicate an entire show in dress and body motions and all kinds of stuff, and that's super awesome. So if you want to check her out, Disco Nap, you can Google that, and a lot of times a lot of her events or stuff she might have like going on at the moment or something will pop up. And then Liz Whitaker, huge shout out to Liz Whitaker for Rising Goddess. I was just there to do a TV movie panel discussion on Stardust. I totally overthought it, but it was a blast and I had fun, and I definitely wish I would have put more time into a little bit more revises on that, right? But it still was a great time. They were super welcoming. It was really awesome. I appreciate everybody that bought tickets and came and listened to me blur on. And at least we had some stuff back too. Next is Chelsea. She is currently at Green Philosophy 716, which is a new dispensary in West Seneca. They have a bunch of super awesome stuff. Go check it out. She's there most of the time. She's still doing your health coach, Chelsea, where she works on Reiki and health coaching. And then she also still makes her Reiki infused candles that are pretty awesome, and they're super funny, amusing shapes. She'll be at a lot of the upcoming events too for Buffalo Events Marketplace. She's part of that crew with Trisha and Michaela. We have the Nightcrawler coming up, which is like a revamp of it. So it's like a vampire theme too. I forgot to mention that earlier, but check that out on all the social medias. And then we had Katie Violet. Thank you so much for coming on. That was an awesome conversation. I am ashamed that I didn't use the line that we knew each other in the biblical sense. That would be a funny line to use, especially with the subject matter. But Katie is in New Jersey currently, working for the Phillipsburg, and that's in Warren County, community center called Trans Care for Us. And it has a whole bunch of resources, great community center, You can reach out to her to get any information or help. And yeah, they are awesome. And I'm so happy that they're in my life. So reach out for that. Again, is Trans Care for Us. Hopefully, I know they're trying to reach out with other towns and cities and states to get other resources. There's all kinds of resources for everything that you could possibly think of. So if there is anything that you are into or interested in, please look into it. Or any lifestyles or body choices that you have made. There's always communities, there's always people to talk to. But just remember not to isolate yourself in any one community, and try to be open and talk to every community. And then Mike O'May, shout out to him. He was on my second episode with a guest. He's the brilliant mind behind Count Creepyhead's Saturday Morning Monster Mash podcast. Please check them out. He is super hysterical. We've become really good friends since I met him like over a year ago, probably 2 years ago maybe, when him and Mike kind of started doing the podcast. And then he came to Jerry's Closet, unfortunately, a few months into when we were already open. So he missed a lot of the super awesome stuff that we had available at the beginning. But there is still a ton of stuff that I have available. So check that out. Count Creepyheads is released pretty much weekly. Every once in a while, just like all of us, we have life and everything going on. And they talk about action figures and dick and fart jokes and all that fun kind of stuff. I've been on there a few times. It's a really good time. Last episode I was on was Would You Rather, so that was a good time. Please check it out. He's on there with Mike Alvarez and Josh Hilbert, which Josh has a toy company also, so please check him out. Pickman's Vinyl. Those guys are hysterical, and I absolutely love being on that show. And Mike O'May is definitely one of my favorite people. And leading to the last shout out, and my first guest, Mike Alvarez, who is one of my favorite people too. I mean, I feel like a lot of the people that were in these shout outs and are in these episodes are some of my favorite people, obviously. Mike is part of Boogeyman's Closet. He is part of Count Creepyheads. He's part of Raised by Rentals. He does artwork. He does a memory podcast. He's kind of slowing down on a bit and everything now. Fortunate part with us creative minds, as I said before, we want to achieve and do everything, and sometimes we cannot do that because we are humans and we have human shells and human bodies and emotions, and we get sick and all that stuff. So him and me are slowing down a bit, but shout out to his stuff I have here. He did this insurance comic with our friend Ben too. The same Ben that Brandon had done the comic with. He did that one with Tara. He's also got some other cool like art books here. Just like these were quick ones he had put together to Blammo and stuff. Just kind of a bunch of different artwork in here. He also did a children's book, so check out the children's book with Rosleen. And I think there's 3 of them. I think I just have the 2. I would have to double check with Mike about that. He did these cute little car things. This is one of my favorite art pieces that I have here. I have another one that he did for me with this little girl chained to a desk that's really cute. That I can't find because I know I moved it up here because I wanted to have it in my office because it's super freaking adorable. And I wanted to have it in the background for when I'm filming stuff, and this room ate it. I don't know, but this room also seems to kind of get more things in as I like move stuff around our house and go through stuff. So like I said, I will give you a tour. So right now we're there's stuff everywhere. Some of the stuff on the shelves are already listed online. A bunch of the other stuff that are in boxes, bags, and everything. They still have to be gone through. Price. Some of them have been priced from other events, some not. If you check out the Shed Part 1 on our YouTube channel right here, you will see everything that's still on the shed. So all that stuff is still stuff that we have available. Working multiple jobs, living life, dealing with mental health issues, everything that comes with life. It's just been a little hard for me to get all that stuff online, but that is definitely one of my big winter projects for this winter is I want to try to get as much stuff as we have in Jerry's Closet online for people to buy. We are also setting up the shed so people can come and shop and look around, and I have to do that until I can afford to have a location again. So that's something that I definitely want to do in the future. We have a little doggy. Hi. Hi, Jojo. Doggy's coming to say hi. Hi, baby. Again, thank you to everybody for listening to all my episodes from this season. And thank you to all my guests for this season. I really enjoyed listening to you guys talk about things that you were passionate about, things that I'm passionate about, things that I wanted to know more about. I'm really looking forward to the second season. I have a bunch more people lined up. Ready to go. I'm not sure when it's gonna be released, but I'm more than happy with where this has gone. And again, thank you to everyone that has listened to this, everybody that has been on this, everybody that has said kind words about me, everybody that has shared this. I really appreciate it, and this project has been huge, and I'm super happy that this is the 23rd episode and the end of a first season, and it's just pretty awesome that I have this many people in my life that were willing to sit down with me for an hour and talk and tell me about stuff and listen to me say stuff. So it was pretty awesome, and I'm pretty thankful, and I realize I'm not as alone as I thought I was, and I definitely do have good people, good friends in my life, and I am super thankful for that. So thank you. I know, again, I'm sorry. It's a lot. But thank you even for listening to this episode and watching this episode, which is something a little bit different. So everyone, enjoy your night and try to make someone smile. Bye.